going to summarize the complete papers, but I've taken the introductory parts and what all systems that can help the communications with the help of reconfigurable intelligent surfaces. All right. So this is one paper, and the other paper, right? So that is this one, right? So it is towards smart wireless communications via intelligent reflecting surfaces, right? So the first one, it is reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, and the second one, right? So it is intelligent reflecting surfaces, right? So these two terms, right? So be it reconfigurable intelligent surfaces or intelligent reflecting surfaces, right? So they are uh, we can uh, we can say that they are synonyms, right? So but they are not exactly the same. Okay, so I will let you know when I will discuss the structure of reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, right? So that time I will tell you the difference. What is the actual difference between IRS and RIS? Okay, fine. So these taking these two papers as the reference papers, right? So we will start our discussions. Okay, so earlier, we already discussed that the performance of communication systems, it degrades when we go from binary modulation schemes to higher order modulation schemes, and then again when the scenario is mobile, right? So we are talking about wireless communication. So of course, when we go outdoors, right? So the scenario is definitely going to be a mobile scenario, right? So even if transmitter and receiver they are fixed, the surroundings will be moving, right? So surroundings, it will be mobile. So we are always going to get some kind of fading, right? So it may be the extent of fading may be more or less, but the fading will be present once we go outdoors and we are just going for point to point communication or broadcast communication or multicast communication kind of thing, right? So further, let us see how what is the difference between various communication systems which look very similar to the communication systems which involve such surfaces, right? So these surfaces are very large as compared to the wavelength, right? So all those things, the specifications and all, we will discuss, right? Okay. So again, this is also in the later part of year 2020. So all these people, all both these papers which are considered for this talk, they are the latest ones, right? So and it is like I will just summarize what all systems, right? So can be implemented and how they work, right? So I will not go into much mathematical details and all. Okay, otherwise I cannot cover even the basic parts of the topic. Okay, so it is like we all know, right? Whenever in the distance between the base station and the user, it is very large, right? So for example, it is a cell edge user, right? So cellular communication, we know, if the receiver is at the cell edge, right? So which is the maximum distance we can consider for cellular communications, and in that case the relays can help, right? So relays can help, and the relaying, right? So we in such cases we have two terms, right? So one is relayed communication, okay, and other is cooperative communication, right? In both of these there is a minor difference, right? So what is the minor difference is the direct link between transmitter and receiver. So for example, if this link, right? So this link, which is direct link between transmitter and the receiver, if this link exists, right, then we say that it is cooperative communication. Okay, but if this direct link does not exist, right, only we have this relay. Okay, this relay is there, direct link is not there. In that case, it is a relayed communication. Just it is something like the communication happens in two hops, right? So one for one time slot, the base station or the transmitter, it sends the information to the relay, and then relay it processes according to its configuration, and it sends the information or forwards the information to the receiver, right? So what happens is there can be different configurations like amplify forward, decode forward, opportunistic relaying, right? That is at the relay. All right. While this uh, relay, right? So it is an active element, and it has its own energy source. It has its own processing power, right? So the relay can forward the signals with certain amplification, or if it is amplify and forward, if it is decode and forward, then it decodes the message, remodulates, and then sends it, right? So opportunistic relaying, then it has some decision making power also, that whether to forward or not to forward, right? So these are the key configurations at relay. All right. So uh, again, since we are going to talk about IRS or RIS, right? So uh, that is also a similar setup. Okay, so that is also a similar setup, but the only thing is the IRS, right? So if it is working as relay, then it doesn't have its own energy source, right? So we will see that system also, that how the similar system can be reconfigured with the help of IRS or RIS. Okay, fine. So over here we see that when the relay is sending the information, right? So there we have this factor, right? So HSN is always there, right? So HSN is there. So HSN is there, but then we have G and beta, right? So this G and beta, they may be amplifying factors or some encoding techniques like that. Okay. So we are not going into those details, right? Our aim is not to discuss about communication, this comparative communication or relayed communication, but we have to differentiate between the various systems from the systems based on IRS. Okay, so this is relay assisted communication, in which relay helps to provide diversity at the receiver in case this path is very this direct path, right? In case this direct path is under deep fade, what can happen is we can receive the signal through relay, right? So that is the idea. All right, and then we have backscatter communication, right? So backscatter communication is again it is something like we have a transmitter and we have a receiver, okay? But then the backscatter transmitter, it doesn't have its own energy source, okay? See, the difference between the uh, backscatter communication and the earlier communication, right? So in that case, this one, right? So this was a relay, right? So intermediate node, it was a relay, and that relay, it was not sending its own information. Now this backscatter transmitter, it is having its own information to send to the backscatter receiver. Okay, while the relay was having its own processing units, its own energy source, but backscatter transmitter is not having its own energy source, right? So what happens is this backscatter transmitter, it can be any device, like it is a sensor which is which is located at some remote location. It is very difficult to change the battery, so it is kept without battery, or it needs to save the battery so that it is not capable of sending the radio waves of its own. Okay. So what it does is it says it takes the ambient radiation, right? So for example, there is a base station in the vicinity. It is sending signals. So those signals are captured by backscatter transmitter. No processing is involved. It just reflects in such a way that it embeds its own data. Okay, so it embeds in its own data, right? So it is something like this backscatter transmitter, it is receiving HSN. Okay, so H is the channel coefficient between the base station and the backscatter transmitter. It is receiving HSN and it is sending back this signal. Okay, how it sends this signal, right? So there are certain processes. Okay, so we will not discuss how it this backscatter transmitter sends the signal, but through certain mechanisms, right? So it sends this signal back, HSN, and it embeds its own signal into it. And this G, right? So it may be attenuation constant or reflection constant, right? Because it is just reflecting the signal, right? So over here, it the signal, right? It reaches the backscatter receiver. So at backscatter receiver, this signal is there and this signal is there, right? So out of that, this is nothing but it is an interference, right? So this is the useful signal. Out of this, it has to recover what was BK. All right. So in this case, the backscatter transmitter, is a passive it is a passive device, right? It is a passive element, but it has its own information to transmit, right? So this is again a similar system where we have only shown the three nodes. Okay, so there may be many receivers which wants the direct signal from the base station itself. Okay, so that is always there. Okay, and that is there in the cooperative communication systems also, that direct links are already available, right? So we have seen two systems. One is relayed system, another is backscatter system, right? So in relayed system, it has its own energy, but it doesn't have its own data to transmit. Communication system, where the backscatter transmitter has some data to transmit, but it doesn't have its own energy source. Okay, so now we are going to see RIS aided communication system, in which the RIS, it doesn't have its own data, either it doesn't have its own energy, right? So now over here, right? So it is IRS or it can be RIS, right? So it can be anything, right? So uh, what the IRS does is, again, it is something like relaying, right? So it has its own it receives the signal from base station, right? So it receives the signal from base station and it forwards the signal towards the receiver. Okay, and the one thing which was not present in earlier systems, like at the relay or at the backscatter transmitter, was this controller. All right. So this IRS controller is there. Okay, and it controls the functioning of IRS. Okay, fine. So how it controls, right? So that is by switching on and switching off of the elements, or by changing the phase shift, or by changing the reflection coefficient, right? So these are the parameters which can be controlled, right? So that is how these surfaces are known as intelligent. Okay, so either it is reflecting surface or it is reconfigurable surface, but some intelligence is embedded into it through IRS or RIS controllers. Okay, fine. So we have already it is already stated that RIS, it doesn't have its own data to send to the receiver, it doesn't have its own energy source. See, it doesn't have energy source for processing the signal, right? So whatever signal it receives, right? So it doesn't process, it just reflects. Okay, and reflection is in such a way that it is for the better performance at the receiver. Okay, so it again, this also reflects the ambient radiation. Okay, and the programmable, right? So phase response is programmable, and the controller, right, it demands minimal power, right? So this controller, right? So since it is a controller, it will need some power. Okay, and this controller needs very small amount of power, and it also has minimal signal processing capabilities. Okay, so that is the difference among the already existing systems and the RIS or IRS aided communication systems. Okay, and I said that we this this RIS or IRS, right? So it works on the principles of MIMO communications, right? So where MIMO encounters in IRS? See, this one is having many elements, right? So all these squares, right? So all these parts, all these can be considered as different elements, right? And these elements in such a way that it gives something like array, or because there are many elements, we can consider them as separate entities, right? Okay. So that is the thing. Okay, and the other difference uh, between such reflecting surfaces and relayed communications is that in relay, since it has its own energy source, it has its own also, right? It has its own RF chain also. In IRS, since it doesn't have its own energy, it just reflects the ambient radiation, so it doesn't have any RF chain, right? So RF chain, it includes the modulators, demodulators, and analog to digital converters, certain filters, some amplifiers, and all those units, right? So those circuitry is not present at IRS, and that is why this these surfaces, right, they are considered to be passive, right? So many a times we refer such surfaces as they are passive surfaces, but they are intelligent, right? So there is a confusion, right? So when we say it is a passive, right, it means that it doesn't send its own RF power, right? So it has some energy requirements, some power requirements, some signal processing capabilities, right? But those signal processing capabilities and those power requirements are only for reconfiguring or programming the surfaces such that they perform its actions for the best possible performance at the receiver. Okay, so this is about various systems and the differences between systems, right? Okay, so now what are reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, right? So these surfaces, they makes wireless environment programmable. Okay, so they make wireless environment programmable. Why? Because we have seen that it is a transmitter receiver structure, right? Transmitter receiver structure, and we have an RIS, right? So what happens is, from transmitter signal goes to RIS, from RIS the signal goes to receiver, right? And this RIS, it can be programmed, right? So RIS can be programmed, and it can be programmed in such a way that it receives maximum signal from transmitter and it sends maximum signal to the receiver, right? So it is a kind of joint optimization of transmitter, receiver, as well as channel. All right. So it says that environment itself can be programmed, right? And then as we said, right? So RIS, they are passive. They doesn't need more power, more energy, more signal processing capabilities, right? And that is why they are inexpensive, right? So they are inexpensive, yet they are adaptive. Okay, so they are adaptive. Why they are adaptive is because they are programmable, right? So programming is possible. That is why they are adaptive, right? So adaptive is nothing but there are some two three terms, right? So one is adaptive, another is smart, another is intelligent, right? So adaptive is which can adapt to the situation, right? Adaptive is which can adapt to the situation, while smart and intelligent, right? So smart and intelligent is like they have some decision taking capabilities, right? So like intelligence means, okay, I have to adapt, but I can make a decision when I have to adapt, right? So that is when there comes a decision capability, right? So then there comes smartness or intelligence, all right? Okay, so it is inexpensive and adaptive, while it is thin composite material sheet. Okay, so composite material, that means at times we also refer to as meta material, right? So thin sheet, and it is of composite material such that the required signal, required reflection patterns, and required changes in signal phases we can obtain through that. Okay, and so they are capable of modifying the incident radio waves. They do not do amplification, they do not do other signal processing, but they modify in such a way that we get the best out of it. Okay. So what modifications it can do is we will see. Okay, fine. So again, it can be programmed and controlled, right? So that is we have already seen. Okay, fine. So now the operation, right? So its operation, it is in two phases. Okay, so we said that, right? So there is a transmitter, there is a receiver, and there is IRS. Okay. So and there is IRS or RIS. Okay. Fine. So this is there, right? So then signals are going through this and coming towards the receiver, right? So see how will this surface know that it has to send the signal towards this receiver? Okay, so that comes through control or programming phase, right? So programming phase, it is the something like training of the network, right? So training of the complete network, right? So where we do certain optimization between transmitter receiver, taking into consideration the channel which is coming through the IRS. All right. Fine. So since this RIS, it is just reflecting the signal, right? So we do not need any TDMA kind of system which we use in relayed communication, right? So in relayed communication, what happens is we have a transmitter, we have a relay, and we have a receiver, right? So what happens is in one time slot we send signal to the relay, another time slot we send signal to the receiver, right? So it is TDMA, right? So one time slot and two time slot, right? That is because relay has to process, either it has to amplify or it has to decode, and after that it has to forward, right? While in RIS, that is not the case. It just takes the signal, it just reflects, right? So there, this TDMA kind of things and all those processing, that is not required. Okay, so it just programs, right, in such a way that uh, the signal, right, it gets reflected in particular direction, right? So programming, it can be like whether full penetration or full absorption has to be done, right? So it might happen that the signal has to pass through the RIS, and it has to go to the next level. Full reflection, right? So complete reflection has to be done, partial reflection has to be done, or beamforming in certain direction has to be done, right? So if it is a broadcast kind of application, right, in that case beamforming is not required. But when it is point to point communication, right, so when the signal has to be transmitted towards one particular receiver or towards a group of receivers, right, so in that case beamforming will be required, right? So and the other thing is other phase, that is normal operation phase. Okay, and operation, right? So that is whatever programming is done, right? So as per that programming, the surface will work. Okay, so that is about operation of the surface and RIS classifications, right? So they are classified based on its capabilities, right? So based on capability of amplification, right? So whether they can amplify the signals or cannot amplify the signals, right? Or based on signal processing capability, right? So based on processing capability, uh, they are classified as active or passive, right? And based on configurability, right? So static or dynamic, right? So there can be cases where we just want a static, means once we have designed the system we don't want to change it, right? So in that case we can work with static surfaces, while most of the cases we need reconfigurability, right? Because our transmitter receiver, right, they are mobile, Okay, so when transmitter receiver, these are mobile in nature, right? So if receiver changes its position, right, and the RIS is configured to provide good coverage to that particular user, and the user changes its position, right? So in that case, reconfigurability is required. Okay, so uh, again, if we say that it is active and it can amplify the signals, right? So in that case it would be having similar functionalities as relay. All right. So because relay can also amplify the signal, relay can also have signal processing capability, right? So in that case, if an RIF, it can amplify the signal and it can have signal processing capabilities. In that case, it will no longer remain different than relay. Just the thing is, we can say that it is a surface based relay, right? So it is a large surface based relay, and it is just doing the functionalities as relay, right? So in most of the cases, right, so whatever RIS, right, so we will be considering they cannot amplify the signals, they are passive, and they are dynamic or reconfigurable, right? So this particular class of RIS, right, so then only it is RIS, right? So otherwise it is just a surface. Okay, so if it is not reconfigurable, right, then reconfigurable will not be there, intelligent will not be there, right? So if it cannot, it will just remain a surface, right? So when it is active and it can amplify, right, so it can, then again it will function in very much similar way as relay. Okay, so we will be using only nearly passive relay. Okay, so we will be considering just nearly passive RIS. Okay, so we consider nearly passive RIS, and nearly passive RIS are those surfaces which fulfill the following three conditions. Okay, so what are these three conditions? That is, no amplification except during the programming phase. Okay, so programming phase, some amplification may be required because if the signal itself, right, so it is not of that particular strength, right, so in that case certain amplification, but only that too only for programming phase, right? And again, minimal signal processing capability demand, that too only for programming, right? So except for programming there will be no signal processing, no amplification. Okay, and again, minimal power usage, that too only for programming phase. Okay, so it has no amplification, minimal signal processing, minimal power usage, that too power usage and signal processing, that too it comes only during the programming phase. Okay, so these three conditions has to be met by the RIS. Then only we will call them as nearly passive. Okay. So passive RIS is doesn't exist. Okay. Completely passive RIS, it doesn't exist. Nearly passive is because at least we have to do reconfiguration, and at that time we need to do programming, and for programming we need to have some power and signal processing capabilities, right? And those signal processing capabilities also minimal only, right? So uh, that is again no signal processing or power requirement during the operation phase, right? So in operation phase it has already been reconfigured. In what way it is configured? In the same way it has to just function. All right, so there is no requirement of any signal processing or power requirement during operation of RIS. Okay, so then, what is the typical RIS structure, right? So typical RIS structure is a two-dimensional structure. Okay. So when we say it is a two-dimensional structure, right? So it is based on its electrical length, right? And electrical length is as compared to the wavelength of operation. Okay. So based depending on the wavelength of operation, if thickness is too small as compared to the wavelength, then we can consider it as uh, zero thickness surface. Okay, when it is a zero thickness surface, then its dimensions in other two, other two dimensions, right? So they should be existing, right? So other two dimensions, they are larger as compared to the wavelength of operation, right? So in that case, it is two dimensional. Okay. While it is dielectric substrate, so it is just like any PCB design, right? So any PCB structure, right? So the top layer, it is of certain material. Usually, it is metamaterial, so that we can control its electromagnetic properties, right? So depending on the permittivity and permeability, we can change its impedances and all, right? So that is placed over dielectric substrate, right? And it consists of repeatedly spaced unit cells. Okay, we will see it figure in figure also. Next slide, it will come, right? And globally it is passive, right? So globally, when we say globally it is passive, right? So let us say it is certain, it has certain units like this, okay? And within this, right, if there is some power gain, there is some power loss, there is some power gain, there is some power loss, globally it balances the complete power, right? So in that means globally it is a passive one. Okay, fine. And it has a configuration network, right? So configuration network is usually in the form of pin diode elements, right? And they are tunable, right? And sensing elements may or may not be present depending on what application it is being used. Okay, fine. All right. So this is a typical RIS structure, right? So the structure is supported by substrate, right? And this substrate is usually dielectric substrate. It has a unit cell. Okay. So unit cell is the single element. Okay. So single element is it comprises of a unit cell, and we have it can have a supercell. Okay, so supercell is a group of unit cells. Okay, so group of one or more unit cells. Okay, so supercell may be same as unit cell, or it may be a group of cells. Okay, and there is one tunable element for every unit cell. Okay, tunable element for every unit cell. Okay, and it has a configuration network. Okay, so configuration network is to configure each unit cell. Okay, and if it has sensors inbuilt, right? So then sensing elements are at different locations, right? So and further, it has it has the programming units, right? And an interface to communicate with the external world, right? So why does it need to communicate with the external world, right? So it has to exchange some data between transmitter and receiver, right? So it see RIS, right? So RIS, it doesn't have any signal processing unit, right? And the since it doesn't have a signal processing unit, it cannot do perform functions like channel estimation. Okay, and if it doesn't perform functions like channel estimation, then it how does it optimize the functionality, right? So for those kind of operations, some communication is required, right? And that communication interface is available, right? Okay, so and now, okay, so we said this RIS and IRS, right? So RIS, the whole surface functionality is optimized, right, at a time, while in IRS, right, in IRS, all these elements, right, unit cell, all the unit cell elements, they are just reflecting type. Okay, they are just reflecting type, and using these uh, tunable elements in IRS, just control the phase response, okay, of each unit cell separately. Okay, so in IRS, it controls the phase response of individual tuning elements. Okay, while in RIS, the complete surface is considered and the operation of complete surface is configured or programmed at a time, right? That is the difference. Okay, so IRS, it is considered as collection of unit elements. Each unit element can be separately programmed. Individually programming of each element is done, while in RIS, complete programming of the complete structure is done. Right. So that is the difference between RIS and IRS. Right. So that is what uh, in the beginning we considered two similar terms, right? That is reconfigurable intelligent surface and intelligent reflecting surface, right? So in intelligent reflecting surface, all these unit cells, they are just reflecting elements. Okay, while in RIS they can be an antenna element. It might have some other functionality like antenna. Okay, so it is like it receives and sends back. Okay, so that is this thing, the difference between RIS and IRS. Okay, fine. So then typical RIS structure, right? So it can be something like it has discrete antenna elements or it is a smart meta surface. Okay. So when it has discrete antenna elements, in that case, each unit cell is a tiny antenna element. Okay, while the size and spacing is usually half the wavelength of radio waves. Okay, why this is there is just to avoid the mutual coupling. Okay, if the spacing is not more than half the wavelength, right? So in that case we need to consider the mutual coupling, right? And each unit cell is independently designed and modifies the phase of the impinging wave, right? So this is the characteristics of IRS, right? So that is what we said, right? Each unit cell is independently designed, right? And it modifies the phase of the impinging wave, right? So whatever wave incidents over it just reflects in a fashion that the wave gets uh, constructively interfered at the receiver so that the receiver gets most of the SNR, right? So that is the thing. And other is smart meta surfaces, right? So it is the unit cells, they are patches, straight or curve stripes, right? So further, there may be uniform repetition or non-uniform repetition, okay? And the material, right? So whichever material itself is configurable, right? So that means material properties can be change, right? So most probable material properties that we change, right? That is mu and epsilon, right? So that is permeability and permittivity. Okay, so if these two properties we change, right, then electromagnetic properties of the material will change, right? Okay, and these surfaces, they are homogenizable. That means distance between each unit cell is much smaller than the wavelength, and it is a sub-wavelength structure. That is, the unit cell size is much smaller than the wavelength of the operation, right? Fine. So these are uh, the requirements or the typical structures, right? So that can be two ways. One is discrete elements, and another is smart surface, right? So surface itself is programmable. All right. And yeah, so other things are, since we said that it is of meta surface, then what is meta surface is, okay. So meta surface we already know, right? It is again like electrically thin. So resonances over thickness, it can be ignored, right? So thin means the wavelength, the depth of the material, it is much less than the wavelength, right? And it is electrically large. That means the other two dimensions, right? So except the thickness, other two dimensions, they are of the order of wavelength, right? So it is larger than wavelength. Okay. Then homogenizable and sub-wavelength structure we have already seen, right? Point. So then RIS design paradigms. Okay. So RIS, how do we design RIS, or how do we program RIS, right? So that is EM based design, right? So electromagnetics, right? So how it will behave to the incidence of electromagnetic radiation, right? So that is, there can be certain processes, right? So the processes are reflection or refraction, polarization, absorption, beamforming or collimation, and analog processing, right? So these operations can be realized through the RIS by various programming or controlling its properties. Okay. While communication based design is, we can have capacity enhancement, modulation, encoding, and multi-stream transmission. Right. So we will see what is all these EM based design processes. Right. So while in communication based design, we want to enhance end to end capacity, so for that, we can program in such a way that the SNR at the receiver can be maximized. Okay, while it can also do modulation and encoding. Right. So we know that for doing modulation, we have certain processes. Right. So usually, what do we do is we have baseband units. Okay, we have, sorry, baseband data. Okay, we multiply them with carrier signal, okay, to get modulated signal, right? And then again, this modulated signal, it needs to be amplified, right? It needs to be amplified again, it needs to be filtered somewhere, right? And then it can be transmitted over this over the air through antenna, right? But then if we have this RIS, right? And we can change the phases, right? So if we have, let us say, we have this single element, okay? We have single element, okay, and it has some reflection coefficient, okay? It has some reflection coefficient, and we know that reflection coefficient can be represented as magnitude and angle. Okay, so let us say this element, its magnitude is 1, right? So reflection coefficient magnitude is 1. So reflection coefficient gamma, we can say that it is just e raised to j theta. Okay, so now let us say just very nearby we have a source. Okay, let us say it is a horn antenna. Okay, and it is just transmitting the carrier. Okay, it is just transmitting the carrier, the carrier falls over it, right? It gets reflected with this particular reflection coefficient. Okay, so depending on what is theta, the signal, right? So if carrier, right, that was cos omega t, then after reflection, if it has phase shift of theta, it comes out as cos omega t plus theta, right? So just by changing the value of this theta, we can get phase shift keying modulation, right? So PSK modulation we can obtain just by changing the theta, right? So that is how such surfaces can do modulations. Okay, so over here we just need to generate carrier, right? And this functionality and this functionality, right? So they can be removed from the transmitter part. All right. So that is how modulation can be done, right? So in the similar way, we can do encoding as well as multi-stream transmission, right? So multi-stream transmission is nothing but each supercell or each unit cell transmits one particular stream of data. Okay, so we can get similar operation or similar functionality like spatial multiplexing that we get in case of MIMO systems, right? So in MIMO, we have multiple transmitter antennas, right? So over here, we have multiple elements, right? So multiple elements are sending multi-stream, right? So we can get similar operation like spatial multiplexing, right? So in EM based design, we can have reflection, right? So and if we see, right, so this reflection need not follow the usual laws of reflection, which says that whatever is the incidence angle, the same will be the reflection angle, right? So this theta theta may not be same, right? So because our material, it is metamaterial and it may not be the it may not behave as usual, right? So we have programmed like the reflection is occurring, but the reflection is not following normal laws of reflection, right? Again, the same thing in refraction also, right? So refraction happens, but we can control the way the refraction will happen, right? And we may need absorption, focusing, right? So focusing, this is same as beamforming, right? We want the signal to go into one particular direction, right? So while this collimation, right? So collimation is just opposite of beamforming, right? So collimation is opposite of beamforming. The signals are coming from one direction and they are scattered into other directions, right? So when this collimation is required is when the signal has to be sent to multiple users in different directions, right? So that is for broadcast kind of applications. Okay. The other thing is analog processing, right? So analog processing is, we know that the uh, integration and differentiation can be performed by antenna elements, right? So antennas, they can be configured as integrators or differentiators, right? So such kind of operations can be performed using these surfaces. Okay. So while splitting and polarization, right? So it splits means it can send one incident signal into different directions, right? And there we can control the power splitting as well as the directions in which the signals are to be split. Okay. And polarization is, we can control the electrical polarization, that is the direction of the electric field of the radio wave. Okay, so these are the EM based designs which can be controlled through programming of elements of RIS. Okay, and the other thing is the communication based design, right? So we said that we can have uh, different applications like modulation or uh, capacity enhancement, or right. So capacity enhancement, it can be like, see, all the signals, right? They are concentrated in one particular direction. If they are concentrated in one particular direction at the receiver, we will get best SNR, and then we can have better capacity while using modulation, right? So modulation, we have already discussed, right? And the other thing is multi-stream transmission, right? So for multi-stream transmission, it is nothing but these different cells, right? So different unit cells or different super cells, right? So they will send different symbols. Okay, so that is a multi-stream transmission. Okay, so again, we have also seen the same example, right? So we have a feeder, right? So we have feeder which is sending unmodulated signal. Okay, and through unmodulated signal, this encoder, it works such that the modulation symbols, right? That is baseband data. It is given to the elements of RIS and the state, right? So it decides the modulation, which kind of modulation is being done, and what will be the output once the modulation is done. Okay. So again, see, this encoder, it will also control which elements of RIS are to be switched on, which elements are to be switched off, what should be the reflection coefficient of each element, right? So all those properties, whatever EM properties we want to control, right? So depending on the property of each unit cell or each macro cell or each super cell, we can control that. Okay, right. So, and there are certain distinctive features, right? So, what are the distinctive features, right? So, that is, direct channel estimation is not done at RIS, right? So, that is, we already said, that is because RIS are not having certain signal processing capabilities. So, channel estimation cannot be directly done. No new waves or amplification, right? So new waves are not generated because it doesn't have any power amplifier, so amplification cannot be done. It doesn't have its own source, so no new waves cannot be generated, right? And the most important is beyond far field, right? So it is near field. operations, right? So, for example, we are operating at 10 gigahertz frequency and the surface dimension, right? So, surface dimensions are, let us say, it is 10 lambda. Okay. If surface dimension is 10 lambda, in that case, the far field and near field region, right? So, distance, it will come as somewhere around 7 meters, right? So 7 meters, that means around 20 feet, right? So that is whenever there is indoor communications, right? And it is 10 lambda, right? So if only considering 10 lambda, the distance is of the order of 7 meters. If it is 50 lambda, right? So in that case, it will become 200 meters, right? So uh, RIS, it not only goes for far field communications, but it is in near field operations also, right? And yes, so if our frequencies are larger, right? So when our frequencies are larger, the distances move smaller, but then the electrical length of surface that also increases, right? So if it is 2 lambda for 10 gigahertz, right? So if for 30 gigahertz, the same length, same physical length will become 6 lambda, right? So that is since the electrical length is defined based on the frequency, based on the wavelength of operation, right? So that way, the RIS, so it opens the doors for near field communications also, right? Earlier, near field communications were used only in RFID tags, like if you are aware of these metro train cards or the library ID cards, where you need to put your card on the reader surface itself, and then the reader will read, right? So RFID tags, that near field communications are applicable. So RIS, it is now uh, increasing the distances of near field communication regions, right? So that is this thing. And then dense scatter deployment, right? So scatterers, right? So they are, each unit cell, it is a separate scatterer and they are densely packed, right? So that is a dense scatterer deployment, and high focusing or beamforming capabilities are there, right? Because there are large number of elements, right? So larger the number of elements, we have narrower the beams, and if narrower beams are there, then we will have less of interference. When interference is less, we can have more better communications, right? And then if it is used for localization purpose or power transfer purpose, we can have precise localization and efficient wireless power transfer. Okay. So then RIS for smart radio environment, right? So smart radio environment is, see, the environments are controlled by nature, right? But then in smart radio environment, what is done is the environment is generated by nature, but it is controlled by the design, right? So if we just see the radio environment, right? So there is encoder and there is a decoder. So what do we do is, we can just optimize this probability, right? Conditional probability, right? So conditional probability that y is received given x was transmitted, right? So this probability only we can control or optimize, right? While in case of smart radio environment, what we do is, see, we have this RIS feedback also there, right? So that is what we have said. There is a communication link to the external environment, right? From the RIS, right? So we control the functionality of RIS, which is a part of our channel or the environment, right? So we control the environment also. Okay. So that is what smart radio environment means. Okay. So it is a joint optimization considering channel information into picture, right? So the applications of RIS are coverage enhancement, security enhancement, backscattering, beamforming, interference suppression, power transfer, and localization. Right. So, so many of them we have already discussed also. Right. So backscattering, coverage enhancement, beamforming, interference suppression. These things we have already discussed also. Okay. Fine. So then the uh, other RIS applications is it can enhance the spectrum sharing. Okay, so when there are multiple transmitters and multiple receivers are available, right? So in that case, see, this is a transmitter, this is also a transmitter, right? And these are two receivers, right? Okay, so this receiver is getting signal from this receiver is getting signal from this, right? But then uh, there is, if these two receivers are nearby, then there is a possibility that they will be highly interfered by the other signals, right? So in that case, what can be done is, see, this IRS is there, right? So IRS or RIS, right? So whatever is there, we can control the reflections of these signals such that uh, the signals, right? So the signals from one transmitter reaches to its corresponding receiver, signals from other transmitter it reaches the corresponding receiver only, right? So there is effective spectrum sharing, right? And the other is to improve overall channel capacity, right? So overall channel capacity is multiple transmitters want to send their information same receiver. Okay, so in that case, this is working as receiver, right? So this is working as receiver itself. So it will receive different elements will receive signal from different transmitters. They will collect and then it will pass on to the actual receiver, right? So over here, it can be given some signal processing capabilities so that the signal receiver some gets the correct signals from multiple transmitters, right? Okay. So and then we have this RIS aided communication system model, right? So we already saw that it can act as a passive relay, okay, and it can improve the receiver, right? So what is this? What happens is there is a path and there are multiple comes through the IRS to the receiver. This IRS is configured in such a way that it enhances the performance at the receiver, right? So might comes from this to this, okay. The way this IRS is controlling, right? So feedback comes this way, right? So these feedbacks, right? So feedback from receiver to IRS, feedback from transmitter to IRS, right? Although they are very limited, but some feedback is required to inform the IRS whether configuration is done proper or not. All right, fine. So some other applications for RIS aided system models, right? So they are RISS, MISO communications, multi-user communications, distributed RIS systems, then multicast systems, and symbiotic radio systems, right? So that is what we will just see one by one. Okay, so RIS aided MISO communications we have already seen, right? So this is we have already seen that base station. It is sending information to IRS. Then it is also sending information to user, and IRS is sending information to user through passive beamforming kind of application. Okay. And the other thing is multi-user communications, right? So the base station, it is sending signal to different users, okay? And this IRS, it is producing multiple beams and it is sending, forwarding the information to corresponding users, okay? So that is also one of the functionality that IRS or RIS, right? It can generate multiple beams, right? So it can generate multiple beams so that different users can get only the data which are useful only to them. Okay, so that is also possible, right? Fine. So then it has the distributed RIS, right? So there is a single control unit, right? RIS controller, right? So single RIS controller, okay, but there are multiple RIS units, right? So it is if you are aware of the concept of distributed MIMO, right? So this is distributed RIS, right? So this is very much in similar to distributed MIMO, where there is a control, there is a single controller and antennas are distributed, right? So over here, it is a single control element and the RIS elements, they are distributed, okay? And it might happen that one RIS serves one user, or it might happen that multiple RIS serves single user, right? So, but then the programming has to be done accordingly, right? So, controlling has
Sir,
to be done accordingly. Yes.
actually, the user are served directly by the base station. Then why the IRS in between, sir?
So, it is the same as we do in cooperative communication, right? So,
Okay.
this link may or may not be there, right? So, this link, direct link, may or may not be there. If it is there, in that case, there may be limited use of IRS. If this link is not there, in that case, the coverage can be extended to the different users with the help of IRS. That is the idea.
So number of users can be increased using the IRS.
Yes, right. So it is like, for example, if D1 is in direct coverage of base station, right? So in that case, D1 may not need assistance from IRS at all. But
Yes.
then, if this DK is at cell edge, right? So if the user which is at cell edge, then it may not be getting any signal directly from a base station. So in that case, it can get coverage with the help of IRS.
Okay. When the
Right. So
user is traveling from one cell to the another cell, so it serves seamless.
yes. So it may be it may be that scenario, or it is completely taken care by this controlling circuitry of IRS, that how many users are getting service through IRS, how many users are getting service directly through base station, right? Okay, so there are a lot of feedbacks are going on, right? So feedback between base station and user, as well as feedback between base station and IRS. Okay, so through those feedbacks of power levels of different users, it decides, right, that these many users may need assistance from IRS, these many users may not need assistance from IRS, right? And other thing is, yeah, if the signal, right, so is being received from the base station itself, right, but it is getting a lot more interference because of some other systems in vicinity. Just to get rid of those interferences, this IRS can also help. Okay, so there are multiple functionalities into it.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So and then we can have multicast systems, right? So there are different groups, right? And different groups need to get different information, right? So beamforming is done in such a way that one group is covered by one beam, another group is covered by another beam, right? And these two beams, they do not interfere each other, right? So that is multicast kind of application, right? So and the other is the cell edge users, right? So again, we are coming to the similar situation where we see in the distributed massive MIMO. So over here, see, this is the cell edge user, and only this user needs assistance from the IRS, right? So only this particular user gets assistance. This user, let's say U1 and U2, right? So U1 and U2, they do not need assistance from IRS, so they will not get any signal from IRS, because IRS is capable of generating very narrow beams, right? So when narrow beams are generated, right, so it might happen that see U1 and let us say this is U3. right? So let us say U1 and U3, they can communicate at same frequency also, right? So in that case, see, there is no this direct connection. This is very weak link, right? While this weak may be stronger. Okay, so in that
That
case,
signal
user
power
one
level will be, sir, signal
power
power
level.
level will be monitored by base station or IRS, sir?
No, signal power level will be monitored by base station only.
Base station.
Yes, yes, yes. See, this IRS, it doesn't do any monitoring application. It is just a uh, almost you can consider passive device only, right? So it is just reflecting the signal. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So at IRS, the intelligence is only in terms of the direction in which signal has to be sent. Okay. So there is very limited processing signal processing capabilities at the IRS. Okay, and then comes the symbiotic radio. Okay, so symbiotic radio is again very much similar to this backscatter transmission. Okay, so this particular link, right? So this particular link is considered as symbiotic radio. Okay, so that means primary transmission is going on, and secondary transmitter and receiver, right? So they use the concept of backscatter. Okay, so that means the licensed transmitter and licensed receiver, right? So they are doing their own communications, but this passive secondary transmitter, which is a backscatter device, right? So it sends its information to the passive receiver. Then what happens is, see this link, right? It is very strong, right? So direct link coming from licensed transmitter to passive secondary transmitter, that is very strong. So over here, this link will interfere much. Okay. So in this case, what we can do is through RIS, we can have the signal sent to the passive secondary transmitter so that the this signal becomes stronger. Right. So if this becomes signal becomes stronger, then the signal to interference ratio can be brought down, right? So if the signal to interference ratio can be brought down, then we can improve the performance of this secondary network, right? So over here there can be one more functionality of RIS. So this RIS, it can be put over here, right? So that this particular signal of RIS, it can be beamed towards passive secondary receiver. If this can be beamed towards passive secondary receiver, then it will be without affecting the performance at licensed receiver, right? So this beam, it can have constructive interference, and there can be another beam which sends information over here, but it is destructive interference to the link going from secondary transmitter to licensed receiver, right? So this RIS, it can have two links. Okay, one is to passive secondary receiver where it has constructive interference, licensed receiver where it will have destructive interference, so that the licensed receiver doesn't get any interference from this passive secondary transmitter, right? So there are again multiple other configurations can also be done, right? So these are the system models which I have explained to just familiarize with the topic, right? And there are current research focus in this area, right? So that is path loss and channel modeling, right? Which is obviously required in case of any of the communication system. Other is surface based modulation and encoding, right? So modulation, I said that yeah, phase shift is possible, so only phase modulation is easily done, but what can be done to realize other modulation schemes like higher order quadrature amplitude modulation, and whether can we do encoding like error control codes or something like that, whether it is possible. So that is also the research focus. Many people are working on that. Channel estimation is highly worked on. Okay, and performance evaluation, it consists of outage, BER, and capacity analysis. Right. Then we have geometry, statistic geometric based analysis, and optimization and resource allocation. That also is common to all the communication systems. Then we have physical layer security, and since non-orthogonal multiple access is going to be standardized in future generations for multiple access, that is also worked on for IRS-based communication systems. Then IoT and backscattering. I already shown you the symbiotic system for wireless power transfer through narrow beams and multiple users. Then how edge computing and localization, positioning, sensing, and tracking can be improved through IRS. Then experimental setups and test bed developments, right? So these are the areas in which people have worked on, and there are many papers available. Okay, but still there are some research gaps, or we can say challenges and future works, right? So where we can there is still much scope of working on it, and that is EM based circuit models, path loss channel modeling. Even channel estimation is not still a completely solved problem, right? Then performance limits optimization, which will be evergreen and always can be done unless we say that this is the ultimate limit, right? Then analysis, since this is opening the doors for near field communications, the analysis of that, and beyond communications applications like localization, mapping, tracking. So it involves the radar kind of applications, and the completely new area that comes up, that is routing, right? So if it is a network of IRS elements, right? So network of IRS elements, whether we can find a route from transmitter to receiver only with the help of IRS structures or RIS network, right? So through proper programming, right? So that is this thing. Okay, so that is this will completely restructure the applications of network layer in the wireless networks or the communication networks as a whole, right? So these are the open challenges, future directions. Okay, and the references is already I have stated the two papers and the other references which are cited into that. Okay, yeah, thank you, and I would welcome any questions.
Thank you, sir. So, any other question?